Hey, it's you. I'd like for us to play a game, and this is a guessing game. I want you to guess which country I'm about to describe. This country has 85% youth unemployment rate. This country, according to the World Bank, 93% of the population lives in poverty. This country, according to the same World Bank, about half of the population live on less than $2 a day. This country, about 80%, that's 80% of the population has no access to electricity. This country has one of the highest infant mortality rates in the world. This same country has 52% illiteracy rate. That means half of adults in this country cannot read and write. Now, if you guessed Liberia, you guessed right. Those are the problems we face in Liberia. Now, there is a company that was established to address one of those problems, and that is the high youth unemployment rate. Why is it important to address that? Number one, if you have such a high rate of youth unemployment, there's a direct link to crime. We know that most young people who resort to crime are doing it so out of economic desperation. They are poor, they are jobless, they have no means of survival. This is why, for example, in Nigeria, you have a high rate of crime, and you have kidnappings and all of those things. That is a direct result of economic desperation. So by providing jobs to young people, we can be able to lower the crime rate, which will make society livable and better for everyone. The second reason we want to lower the high youth unemployment rate is young women. We know from our research that most young women, not all, but most young women go into prostitution, not because they love it, not because it's what they dream of becoming in life, but because of economic desperation. They have no means of survival. Sex trafficking, right? All those things, we can be able to reduce all those problems, or most of those problems that afflict our young women in Africa, by economically empowering them. The third reason we want to economically empower young people in Liberia and across the African continent is because when young people are not economically empowered, when they're jobless, hopeless, they're more susceptible to resort to violence. So, for example, civil war, all those things are more likely if the overwhelming majority of young people in any country are just hopeless. They have no means of survival, and they have no hope for a better future. A politician can easily come and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you some guns. Let's go and fight war. But if a young person is earning a decent living, what are the chances they will take up arms to go and fight? So we can be able to address so many of the problems we face in Africa right now by addressing this high level of youth unemployment. And it's not just in Liberia, it's across most African countries. Most African countries. So, MINZO in our language means heart. And MINZO was established to lift young people out of poverty, to provide them globally in-demand skills and integrate them into the global economy. We want young people to sit in Africa and be able to compete with a young person in China, a young person in Japan, a young person in Germany, in Canada, the United States. They should be able to be a part of the global economy. That is our mission. Our mission is to provide 150,000 good paying jobs to young people in Liberia in the next 10 years and provide 500,000 good paying jobs to young people across the African continent in the next 50 years. Now, by providing 150,000 good paying jobs, what would be the impact of that? We know from our research that each good paying job in sub-Saharan Africa, to be specific, West Africa, each good paying job defined as a good paying job is defined as a job that pays at least 500 United States dollars a month. We know that each good paying job has a direct impact in lifting at least 10 people out of poverty. So I gave myself as an example. I used myself, right? When my father had a good paying job, making a few hundred United States dollars a month, he was able to take care of me and my siblings, my grandparents, all of his siblings. He helped people from his village, helped extended relatives, over 25 people just on that one job. So if we can provide 150,000 good paying jobs, we can in essence lift about 1.5 million people out of poverty in Liberia. Our goal is to do that in the next 10 years by 2034. We also want to provide 500,000 good paying jobs to people across the African continent, young people across the African continent in the next 50 years. By providing 500,000 good paying jobs, we have in essence lifted at least 5 million people out of poverty across the African continent. So that is our mission. Our goal is to, we started in Liberia and we're going to expand to other African countries. So if Africa is to move forward, Africans have to take care of their own problems. Gone are the days where we wait for, America or Europe or this or that to come and rescue us. If you and I and other Africans, well-meaning Africans, if we want to move Africa forward, we have to take ownership of our own problems and be able to say enough is enough, roll up our sleeves and be able to start to solve our own problems. And that is what we here at MINZO, that is what we are doing. We're tired waiting for others to come and rescue us. We are saying these are African problems, they need African solutions, and Africans will take the initiative to solve our own problems. So if you think that is a good idea, if you're an African, or you don't have to be an African, but if you think it is a good idea, and if you like to help, please, I invite you to join us. Like, subscribe, follow, contact us. Maybe you're in Nigeria, you're in Ghana, you're in Africa, or you're outside of Africa. If you think this is a good idea, please join our movement for a better Liberia, our movement for a better Africa. Because if Africa is to progress, if Africa is to forge ahead in the 21st century, it's time for Africans just like you, just like me, to roll up our sleeves, to go to work and solve our own problems. We have to take the initiative. And that is exactly what we're doing here at MINZO. So, if you want to join the movement, follow us, contact us for details. Thank you very much, and long live Africans. And let's wish and let's hope that Africa will prosper and Africa will rise again. Thank you very much.